I've seen that stupid clip of the anime guy going from fat to skinny on TikTok so many times with some stupid caption like, "You won't believe this transformation." And you know what? I don't believe it, and I want to know what happens. And Isekai Slop has never hurt anyone, so I decided to watch it. And you know, with Looks Maxing taking over the world, I needed some motivation. I don't want to be a fat chud anymore. So yes, I watched this anime believing that this is the Mogwai method, but for anime fans. So the show starts with the goat, Yuya, finding a girl in trouble, and you know, him being the kind guy that he is, he decides to help her. But you know, they straight beat him and call him names. And here we learn that because of his appearance, he gets bullied, not just by his classmate, but also his parents. And that the one person who treated him kindly passed away, R.I.P. the grandfather, man. But he left everything to Yuya, which made his family really mad, and they completely cut him off. So yeah, his life is pretty miserable. And even on his graduation, he gets jumped with his bullies telling him that they're finna beat him, even in high school. You know what to say, man. Appearance is everything, bro. But back at home, he's cursing his appearance, and he finds a hidden door, and in that door he finds another door. So captivating, which leads to another world. And bro, what is with all this writing, bro? Holy. And whoever owned the spot has passed away, and since Yuya is the last person to come there after that guy's death, he gets to keep it, doing better than most of us. We are not owning houses in this economy, and he got two. So you know, maybe being unattractive is not that bad of a thing. But yeah, he just kind of messes around with some of the random weapons that he has, and here he runs into his first monster. But luckily, nothing else can enter the property, and he got some insane endgame loot. So he just one taps it and gets a pristine level up and some loot that he can convert into yen. So yeah, basically infinite money glitch. And you know, after coming back that night, his body morphed, and here we get to see him after he ascended. And after that, it's summer break, so he just goes back and just farms more monsters, checks out the garden, and you know, this is basically a whole book, man. What's with all this text? And you know, he's just enjoying his life, like them TikToks say. Chad does what Chad wants. And after a while of just chilling, he has to go to school. And of course, no one recognizes him until he tells them. And here he sees himself for the first time because he broke his mirror earlier, so he couldn't really see himself. And I don't know how he didn't notice himself changing. I mean, he can literally see his skinny soul, and he even measures himself like not that long ago. Maybe just he didn't expect his face to look like that. But it's not like it matters because his siblings still low-key bullying him. But here, the girl he saved pulls back up, and she invites him to her high school. And it's a super prestigious school, like the one from High School DxD. But yeah, it's Kaori's father, and he basically begs him to join. And after a trial day where he makes some friends, so you know, obviously he's gonna join. And he also gets to go on his first day with Kaori. And you know, we switch back to the other world, and he's farming monsters until he hears a scream. And of course, it's a damsel in distress. And he ends up in a fight with a monster, and after beating it, he saves the girl in trouble. Well, I mean, her guards do, I guess. But switch back to the real world after, and he goes to the mall because he needs some clothes. And here he gets recruited to be a model and bonds with his co-star. And then the original model shows up, but you know, Yuya makes quick work of him because he was harassing the model girl. What a nice guy. And it's 3 episodes in, and he already has 3 girls. You know, good for him. As of all the work he did, he gets some new nice clothes. So everything worked out. He got a girl and new clothes. Good for him. And we go right back to the other world, and he runs into the girl again, or I guess saves her again. And she basically came back to the forest and put everyone else's lives in danger because she wants him. Of course, this causes the soldiers to freak out, but you know, he invites him back to his house because it's super dangerous in the forest. And here he officially declines the princess, and her name is Alexia. And of course he's gonna reject her. I mean, he's super young and he's a good looking guy, you know, he got hella options. But he does accept the request to come to the kingdom, and the attack on her was orchestrated by this guy, which I guess we'll find out later. We then switch over, and he attends his first day at his new school, and here he meets a new girl named Kaide, and he saves her with style. Oh my god, bro, it's like the 4th one. Every episode it's like 2 more. And then the most insane thing to ever happen to a prestigious school, a group of bikers attacked the high-end school, and this was all orchestrated by Yuya's sibling because they're jealous of him and they wish they got into his school. But Yuya hits a superhero pose, stops them, and saves Kaori. And then we're gonna talk about how superhuman this guy is. I mean, people should be questioning this, but yeah, the bikers get rounded up, and Yuya even saves his brother from getting killed, even using his Emperor's Haki to knock that guy out. And him and his siblings reconcile, and his friends just straight glaze him, which I guess good for him. Yuya then goes back to the other world to hunt, and here he defeats a monster, getting a dog, which he names Night. And back in the other world, Kaide offers to go with him to get him dog stuff. Oh yeah, she's into him because he's the main character, if it wasn't obvious. After that, he takes the dog on a walk, and he runs into Kaori and Model Girl, and ooh, he's in trouble. But it's interrupted by the two helping this old lady and him saving them from a thief. Also, the dog is super useful. He became Yuya's hunting partner, and he's also the one that caught the thief. And the dog also leads him into a cave where he finds the sage's journal, and the sage was basically Gojo Satoru, because whatever he did, he was just really good at, and this leads him to being super depressed and alone until he dies. But he does leave Yuya with his magical powers, meaning he can do magic now. So back in the real world, Yuya gets put into a group for a camping trip, and here he goes with his friends to buy a bunch of stuff for the trip, and they have some arcade fun, and because he's superhuman, he's really good at them games, and he wins everyone something. The group then split up, and they go to get coffee, but a fire breaks out, but the girls are stuck in it. But Yuya, with his new magical powers, saves them, after which he gets yelled at for actually doing something and not letting them girls end up like Lost. Mustang is a goat though. Some other stuff that also happens is that the king hates Yuya because he's an overprotective father, and that this girl wants to destroy the magical world. Very ominous. While out hunting, Knight drags him to a clearing where he watches a girl get jumped, and he massacres the whole tribe to save her. And Knight doesn't like this girl, but it's Yuya, so they obviously bond, and they decide to train together. And by the end of it, she wants him, to no one's surprise. But he has to leave for his school trip, so he ditches her, and here we learn that she is an assassin for some dark guild, if the strings weren't obvious enough. But I gotta give them props, this was actually kinda cool. And we finally switch over to the class trip, and they basically have to survive in the outdoors, and Yuya and Red Hair have to go fishing, and Yuya being Yuya, he catches like a bazillion fish, and the other two go to gather mushrooms and stuff, and yeah, they're able to get hella stuff, and Yuya of course chefs it up, and he makes some S-tier food, and it's better than the first-rate chefs they have at their school, with the teacher even asking him to marry her. And after that, they take a bath again. This show loves bathing, and they show off his chiseled body once more, and they even tan it too. He looks like a real bodybuilder. This is what he looks like normally. And the next day, the class wakes up to see all their food is gone, and it was basically taken by this bear, which then attacks the class. But Yu starts wrestling it like he's Russian, and the bear is taken in to be the academy's watchdog. I don't know how that's legal, but okay. And that brings the trip to an end. And we then switch over, and Yuya is finally going to the kingdom, and just as he meets up with the princess, an attempt is made on her life by none other than Luna. And Yuya then takes all of them back to his house so they can figure out why. And after waking up, she gives her backstory. So basically, she was an orphan who gets taken in by this guy who raised her to be an assassin. And eventually, she gets the assignment to end the first princess. But because she failed, she has to become the princess guard. And you know, to immediate tension, Yuya feeds them his world-famous cooking, and the two fight for his attention. The group then goes back, and the princess mentioned that she almost got assassinated. So the guards, of course, arrest Luna, even though the princess calls them unreasonable. And I agree with them. She might try to cozy up with her so she can finish her assignment and stuff. I mean, you don't really know her. The only thing you have in common is that she wants Yuya. But after some convincing, she gets accepted, and she even makes the first move. Sometime after, while he's chilling in the spring, he gets another pet, a red pig. He calls it Koski. But to be honest, I feel really bad for the guard. They're the real victims here. Yuya doesn't help anyone unless they're the opposite gender. And the royal family hella unreasonable. They're the real victims for sure. We then switch over to the other world, and it's sports festival time. And Yuya starts off with soccer, with him being a goalkeeper. And he's a demon, blocking a shot and scoring. The other guy's good too, I guess. But yeah, apparently that shot is legal, so he might be better than the GOAT, Gagamaru. Yuya after school is then approached by this lady, and she wants him to join the entertainment industry. Also, this lady knows the model girl, but he refuses, so she joins the sports festival as members of the press so she can take pictures of him. And at the sports festival, you already know he dominates everything. He destroys a ping pong table, a whole volleyball court, even hard carries Kaori to a victory in tennis, and by the end of it, he gets another as a reward. But yeah, now for the actual plot. In the other world, as Yuya is killing stuff, which is probably an insane stress reliever, he goes deeper than ever, and this is the first time we see him actually lose, but he's saved by this rabbit, after which the two spar, with the rabbit agreeing to train Yuya as long as Yuya trains the rabbit in magic. And after some training, he's strong enough to beat the monster that was beating him earlier. After that, they part ways, so Yuya can go to the sports festival, and we see the rabbit get jumped by the evil girl who wanted to destroy the world. Also, the rabbit and this girl are basically the strongest in this world, with good ones such as him being called Divine, and the evil ones like the girl being called Vile. Okay, so back to it. Kaori and Yuya continue to bond as they study together, and here she finds the door to the other world, and Yuya even takes her there, with Yuya promising to eventually show her the other world, because he is finally going to the kingdom. And on his way there, he sells some regular seasoning for basically $1 million, which he low-key scammed someone, but whatever. And some context, the king hates him even more now because he heard that Yuya spent some time alone with the princess in his house when Yuya pulls up to the royal court and gives her some bedding as a gift, which is bad in the kingdom since that signifies you want to marry someone. But I think bedding isn't a good gift in any situation. If a girl likes you, please do not give her some bedding in front of her father. I think that's an odd gift. I don't even know, I'm a child. But the king's anger is cut short because they were all attacked by the Dark Guild. And earlier we see that they were given an orb which basically shuts down all magic. But luckily for them, Yuya's there and he handles it. And on the assassins, they find a crest belonging to the first prince, meaning everyone knows that he's behind the assassinations. So then Yuya is asked to protect the princess, and the two, along with the assassin, go to explore the kingdom. And here Yuya does what anyone else does when they first transport, which is become an adventurer. And of course, the magical energy is off the chart. And even though he's OP, he's put in the lowest ranks. After that, the team go on their first quest together to gather some plants, and mid-quest, they find the prince's location, so they ride out there, and after some fighting, they apprehend him. But the World End Lady shows up, and she basically wants him on the throne because he's incompetent and he would cause hella wars. But after using a big AoE attack that hurts no one because Yuya's there, she runs out of stamina and has to retreat. The prince is arrested and burned from the royal family, and basically he's insane because at a young age, the princess lost control for magic and ended up scarring him, and he was consumed by thoughts of killing her. But Yuya uses all heal herb and fixes him up, and the royal family is united. And Yuya is rewarded with all the prince's land, and he even gets the title of Lord Knight. W stakes, of course. After that, Yuya knows that the evil lady's gonna pull up on him, so he focuses on training. What are these mans doing? I mean, he doesn't even stay at school that long, he just runs home. And here, he's right, because he's attacked, and she's super duper strong. Luckily, Rabbit shows up, and with teamwork, they beat her, but she pops ult. But luckily, Akatsuki's domain counters it, and they beat her. And she wants to destroy the world because human killed her mentor, who was the divine archer. But yeah, since she's a girl, Yuya takes her in, and I guess she gets to live in the other world as a student. Also, I forgot to mention that Kaori was also there. She went to his home uninvited. You know, she's a stalker. Get it? You know? Okay. But in the end, Yuya tells her that he feels he cheated in life, but she accepts all of him, saying that he's still the same guy that saved her, and yeah, that's it. And there's some random clips at the end. Kaori meets the princess and the assassin, and Yuya bonds with a sibling. But yeah, that's how he went from Chad to Chad. But that doesn't change the fact that this anime was low-key not that good. The two different plot lines are just okay. The school one was like interesting, but like after like the third girl, where it was just him becoming Mr. Save a Girl, it got so repetitive. I think every episode it was like a new girl, and I don't know, this show deserved better than just being some harem slot. I know it's really old, but I didn't know anything before going into it, and I wish I just hadn't. I wish I had shown him improve himself rather than just morph in the first 15 minutes. It could have made this anime probably like top 10 isekai of all time, but it's just a snooze fest. I think it should have been more like Lookism. I obviously haven't read it in like a very long time, but I remember when I left off, Daniel was like working on his original body. And you know, he improves himself as life improves. And this anime deserves something like that. I obviously watched it to completion because I'm a completionist, but I regret it. I'm telling you, it was low-key garbage. And I think the biggest issue with the anime is with the main character. The other characters just don't exist, okay? They are nothing. They're just placeholders. And I understand that the MC is the type where you project yourself onto him. So, you know, rather than being like a fat chat, you get to be like this cool model with like all the girls and all that. But this guy is so boring. He's somehow worse than Kirito. And Kirito, like, the main guy for this like archetype. I don't know why, but everything he does says it feels so soulless. There's no character behind it, and it genuinely makes this anime miserable to watch. And if a season 2 came out, which I doubt it will, like it's been in production for what, 3 years now, I don't think anyone would watch this because the cool thing already happened. You know, he already changed, he's already ascended, so who's gonna watch him like go to the park or just keep hunting? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe there's something wrong with me, but I don't think this is a good anime, and I'm entertained by most things. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.